Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me again for another live Q&A session here on my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, then you know every week we have a new poll. And hang on, I can hear myself talking. Every time, I swear. I'm just going to completely skip. You guys know who I am, okay? I'm going to skip the intro. We're just going to get to the poll. Today's topic actually came from, or by request, because I have to say and apologize for the last time we talked. We sort of touched on travel gear a bit. I think either in the not last week, but the week before, perhaps. And I misspoke. I said a Hero Zoom recorder, but I always get it mixed up with the GoPro. I've always done that, and I don't know why, but it's actually what it is like a field recording device, as Caesar had given me the correct terminology. It's a field recording device. It's called a Zoom H3 is the version that I have. But I'm going to show you guys that stuff. So I have to apologize for that. I did say Hero, but I'd meant Zoom. And I'll show you what that is. But this week, the poll is what is most important in a travel setup? Because we're talking about travel gear, what you should have with you if you're a working voice artist who travels a lot, or you have a big trip coming up and you want to be able to work while you're traveling. We can even touch on car accoutrement if you want to. I do know some voice artists who were having their studios refurbished or built or something of that sort, and they had to get into their car to record stuff. So we can touch on that if you want to. But I wanted to expand on what I was referring to in terms of travel gear. And if you're watching this, please share your tips. If you have a travel gear setup, please share that with everybody watching. Again, the purpose of these is to help everybody, right? It's not don't gatekeep. If you have a great idea or you have a great setup, please share it with the class. That would be appreciated, because what works for me may not work for someone else. So again, back over to the poll. Let's pop that back up here again, because I'm tangenting way too much already. What's the most important in a travel setup? So 11% of you said portability. Valid. 67% of you said sound quality. Again, very valid. Valid point. 11% of you said fast setup time, and 11% of you said budget-friendly gear. Okay. Because budget-friendly, I don't think is really in the cards, although you could just use your normal setup, but you would have to make sure that you have everything with you. So again, I'm just going to go through some things you could do in terms of to help the sound quality when you're out and about, and then also the travel gear that I have. And let's just get to the point. Angela, stop rambling. Okay. So first I wanted to show you what I was referring to. So when I said Hero before, I was confusing that with a GoPro. For whatever reason, I do that. But this is essentially what it is. This is the updated version of what I have. I have the H3, which is the previous version, but it's essentially the same. It's what is called a field recorder, and it's a travel or a handheld interface, essentially. You can, if you look down here at the bottom, it's got 2 inputs for XLR microphones or an instrument, whatever you're recording. It also does have 2 microphones up here technically, but these are, I mean, if you're into recording Foley, you could do that. But what I like about this is that not only can you see what you're recording, you can see the waveforms on the screen here, but you could also, I can show you some other pictures. What I like about this is actually this one has AI noise reduction, gain adjustment. You can, all of them, even the one that I have, you could choose the bit depth and sample rate. This one does have a little bit of noise reduction in it, which is cool. But I was trying to find the pictures of it, but it has a couple of different ways to record. So if you don't have a laptop with you, you could record whatever you're recording to an SD card and plug it into this thing, right? Plug in the SD card first and then record to the SD card and then take the SD card out and then put that in your laptop. Or you can have it via USB or USB-C, whichever. Have it plugged in directly to your laptop, which is kind of like the picture here, and it runs directly into your laptop to record, just like an interface. So depending on what you have available, you can record either way. And then, of course, also plug in your headphones so you can play back. Was there something else that I wanted to touch on with this thing? It is not cheap, so this is not budget friendly. What was the price here? The price for this one was $199, I believe. Yeah, it's the same price on Amazon right now. I just checked, $199. But you could get a pre-owned one. I'm sure if you could find one on eBay, Mercari, you could probably even find one. I would even check Sweetwater. Sweetwater has a used gear section. Sometimes they have really great used gear in there, Facebook Marketplace, stuff like that. You could probably find one pre-owned in previous generations. I didn't pay $200 for my H3. It was less than that, but this one seems to have a few more a few more gadgets and gizmos to it. So essentially I have this, and then I take my microphone, my 416, along with the pop filter and my shock mount. I don't know if you guys can see it in the picture here. Probably not. Let's go back to full screen. No, it's cut out. But my shotgun mic is on a shock mount for on the arm here. So I'll take the shock mount off. So it already has the pop filter and the microphone. And then I'll put that on a foldable tripod desk mic arm. Actually, I think I had one up here. Yep, I did. Okay, so let's go here. So if you got something like this that's foldable, you could also put that in your bag. So it doesn't take up much space, but of course, use what you got. I also have, this is the bag that I chose. It's a really big sort of like duffel bag, but I didn't want to pack my microphone, all my expensive gear. I didn't want to pack that into my luggage and then have them, the baggage handlers throwing that about in in the airplane. So I wanted to carry that stuff on with me, my laptop, the stand, my microphone, the field recorder, all of that expensive stuff I wanted to have with me on the plane or with me near me so I could control it. So I bought this really big red bag. Of course, these are all on Amazon. And everything fit nicely in there. So laptop, desk stand, the cables, don't forget the cables, all the cables that you need, the SD card if that's what you're going to take with you, the field recorder. What am I forgetting? You guys can tell me if I'm forgetting something. I'll have all of that stuff with me. Oh, there was a comment I remember seeing earlier about keeping everything safe. I know that not all microphones come with a case. Mine did. The 416 does. So I, of course, put the microphone in its case to carry that. The field recorder, I almost said Hero again, the Zoom recorder. You can buy a case for that on Amazon for like $20, I think, just to keep it safe and have everything in there. The laptop, the bag that I showed you was padded, so the laptop was fine. And then, of course, the desk stand. It's a desk stand. I don't think it's going to be damaged much. But if you don't have a case for your microphone, I would consider looking to see if you could buy one, like a padded case. I'm sure there's universal microphone cases that you can buy on Amazon, because that, of course, is one of the most important aspects of this, right? In terms of sound quality, I know that is the biggest concern because it's not your studio. You're in a new space. It's probably wide open. It's probably very noisy. Hotels are going to be not easy. I mean, because there's always ruckus, there's always someone running up and down the halls. So I think aside from how you set it up and how you treat the space, you're really going to have to be mindful of when you're recording. I think this is one of the times where you're going to have to get up real early while everyone's asleep, or maybe not even late at night, because depending on what city you're in, and maybe it's the city comes to life at night and it's the noisiest at night. So you might have to get up early in the morning while everybody's sleeping, you know, and record then. But in terms of setting up your space, I think there's a couple of different ways you could go about it, and that's really going to depend on what's available to you in the room that you're in. I've heard a lot of people, I've never done this myself, but I heard a lot of people use the closet. Let's just say hotel, you have a closet. But most of those are super shallow. You can't really get much in there, and to me, it didn't really make a whole lot of sense logistically. Like, but what you could do, and what worked best for me, was sitting on the floor between the bed and a wall, and then positioning the mic in a way that it is facing, like, put your back up against the bed. So then you've got a little bit of sound dampening behind you. Position the mic so it's pointed at you and the bed, basically. And then put a chair in front of you, and then either drape the blanket. So you essentially made yourself a little fort. Drape a blanket over you, over the bed, and then over the chair in front of you. So you're in a little fort. And then maybe bolster around you with pillows or additional blankets, towels, whatever you got. I've also heard of some people taking a sound blanket or a moving blanket with them, putting that in the luggage, keeping all of the sensitive things with you in your carry-on, but then packing a moving blanket in the luggage to then drape over you as well, or in lieu of the hotel duvet, whichever way you want to go. I would say that when you're recording, I would definitely check the sound quality before you go full sprint into recording whatever it is that you're recording. Make sure that you have a good solid maybe 10 to 20 seconds of room tone before you start recording. The final product, right? At this point, you've already done your testing and then readjusted pillows, readjusted blankets, readjusted your position so it sounds better, maybe a little bit less echoey or whatever you're trying to get rid of. But when you're going for the finished product, give yourself 10 to 20 seconds of room tone so that way you have that room tone to work with in your DAW later, right? So you can reduce any further noise that's in the room, right? And then I would say, me being paranoid about everything, I would probably stop every 10 minutes or so just to go back and check that nothing has gone awry. But if you trust your equipment, then you're definitely not me. I'm just always like paranoid something's gonna stop recording, or I'm one of those people. Oh, yeah, make sure that the HVAC is off. That was something that I wanted to make sure that I mentioned. Record shorter sessions. Yep, I mentioned that because I just want to double check that everything is working, right? You definitely want to avoid windows, hallways, doorways. And then also, if you don't have a shock mount, that was another note that I made. If you don't have a shock mount on your mic, and the purpose of a shock mount, for those of you that don't know, and again, you can't see it on screen here, but it's basically like a floating mount. So my microphone is not like attached directly to the mic arm. It's got like a floating mount underneath it. And the purpose of that is to absorb vibration. So if let's just say someone was walking past, or there's a truck outside that's causing a vibration, it absorbs that so it doesn't bleed into your recording. So that is the purpose of a shock mount. But I definitely take that. And then also, where you have your mic stand sitting in the hotel room is something you're going to have to be mindful of too, because if you have it sitting on a desk, let's just say, or on the floor even next to you, there's going to be vibrations outside of people walking by, to and from their rooms, or maybe outside traffic, something that's going to be causing a vibration. Someone else has their HVAC on. So you could even put a little bit of padding underneath the mic stand as well to help absorb some of that, in addition to the shock mount on the microphone. What else? What else are we forgetting? I mean, keep in mind, just like your recording space at home, it doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to sound good. But I think having the extra room tone to work with later is really going to help. I mean, I record a little bit of room tone before, preceding every recording anyway. But I think a little bit extra, and then remembering to do that. Oh, that's what I was forgetting. Extra cables if you have them, and then also a power strip, or maybe not just an extension cord, but I would even have a power strip, a surge protector power strip with you. You could pack one of those as well. There are even ones that include power conditioning as well, so it will filter out any extra, frequencies or interferences that are coming through the outlet. And that is definitely something to be cognizant of if you need laptop power, if you need power for your interface. Outlets are never where you need them to be, right? So you might need an additional length to get to wherever you're setting up your pillow fort to record. So a power strip might be handy as well, extra cables in case something doesn't work. That was another thing I wanted to touch on. The DAW itself. Now, I have Adobe Audition, and you technically, with my subscription, you have 2 licenses or 2 places to use it. But the plugins, you cannot. You have to have them in one place. So that is the difficult part for me, and I'm sure something has probably changed in the last couple of years, because I don't get out much, and when I don't do work anymore when I travel. I completely unplug. But the last time I did this, I had to move my license from this computer to the laptop in order to use the plugins on site, like in my laptop on site. But I think if I had to do this again, if I had to take my travel gear with me next time I traveled, I would just record everything that I needed to and then bring it all home with me to edit. I think I wouldn't mess with the plugins, moving the plugin licenses from device to device again. I wouldn't do that because it's super hassle. What else? I think I touched on everything. But of course, if there are questions, then please ask. And if you want to share what you do, please share it in the chat as well. I think I'm just going through my notes here. I think I touched on everything. So let's go over to the comments and see what you guys are saying. We did have a brand new member, brand new donut, join the club today. Thank you so much, Tammy. I appreciate you. Oh, that's me. And then Caesar was next in. Oh, hi, Angela. I chose portability for the poll. However, there would have been a time where I'd have picked sound quality, and the reason why that's changed really boils down to DAW confidence. And I think that's really going to be key. Now, if you're not super familiar with your DAW, in confidence wouldn't be the word that you would choose. Oh, let me turn the comments on. Sorry about that, guys. Take the time to get at least very familiar with what your DAW can and can't do. Now, what Caesar's referring to in terms of DAW confidence is knowing exactly what you can and cannot do with your DAW. And then also handling your effects appropriately, because the effects, the settings of your effects in your studio are more than likely not going to apply in a whole new space, right? Anytime you change anything in your studio, anytime you get a new microphone, a new interface, new cables, even sometimes, you might need to adjust your effects. So if you're moving your recording space, technically, to a whole new space, then your effects are going to be completely different for that. So I think um, having confidence in what you can do is going to be everything. But I mean, even if I recorded everything on site and then brought it home to my studio so I could focus on, adjusting the sound as needed, I would want a little bit more time and focus with that. And I could even get help with that if I needed to. But at the very least, have some confidence in your DAW. Caesar said, once upon a time, I would have wanted a whole portable recording booth and maybe a Universal Audio Paulo Twin X and a fancy Sennheiser short shotgun, but that would have been nice, but backbreaking, for sure. And again, you can take the stuff that's in your studio, whatever interface you're using, whatever microphone you're using, you can take that stuff with you. I chose, I chose taking the Zoom device, the field recorder, because it was a smaller footprint than the interface that I had at the time. I had a big, like, claret interface at the time. And I have a Universal Audio Volt now, which is still not super small, but it is still small enough that I could take it with me if I wanted to. But I like having options because I don't know about you, but anytime that you have a plan in place, sometimes the universe just decides to change the plan completely. So I like to have options, and I liked the fact that the field recorder, the H3 that I have, had two different ways of recording. So if the if the SD card for whatever reason wouldn't format, wouldn't work, whatever, I could plug it directly into my computer and as like an interface and use it that way. So I liked the fact that there were a couple of different options. Caesar said, I've seen traveling VOs build forts out of hotel couch cushions to get work done. I have too. And honestly, you can make quality recordings with a decent condenser and a field recorder. Yeah, I think the microphone you choose is really going to be important too. Because although I think most voice actors choose a pretty decent microphone to use in the long run. I mean, we all have like the starter microphone, right? When we're first starting out and we don't really know what's a good microphone, we just choose something. But usually the next one, when we upgrade, is a pretty decent microphone that is, you know, good at reflecting or refusing others, like a shotgun mic. I mean, that's exactly why I chose this one, because it doesn't pick up sound so much behind it or to the sides, but what was directly in front of it. So it would be ideal in hotel situations as well. Caesar then says, you can go extra and buy an Isovox, which is a booth you stick your head in, and it works great. You just need some EQ and carve out the low end, which brings us back around to DAW confidence. Yeah, I don't even know if it's one of those. I mean, that just seems like it would be extra big thing to pack when you could just use what you have there. I would imagine that wherever you're traveling to, there's at least a towel, a blanket, a couch, pillows, right? And I know a lot of people nowadays take pillows with them. They don't want to use hotel pillows, so they take their own pillows. And I don't blame you. I do too. So you could utilize those as well. But the Isovox, I would think, or any kind of large item that you had to fold. I mean, even the moving blanket might be too much. But I guess it's better than being stuck with nothing. Caesar says, if you know how to process your sound, chances are you can make any environment work for you. That and mic technique to minimize environmental influences such as noise or reverb. Yeah. Learn your DAW, whatever DAW you choose. And again, your DAW is your digital audio workstation. That's your recording software. Whatever one you choose, and of course there's Audacity, there's Adobe Audition, there's Studio One, there's Reaper, there's a handful of them. Whichever one you do choose, take the time to learn it, practice with it, record. What I used to do is record nursery rhymes, just short ones, and then play with all the different effects, trial and error different things just to make sure that I understood it. And the confidence and knowing what you can and can't do is huge. Kat is here. Hey, good morning, Kat. Good morning. Good morning. Shanna says, my concern is keeping my equipment safe as I move between home and lake cabin. Equipment packing tips would be welcome. I think it was your comment that I saw earlier in regards to packing. You could even, in your carry-on, if you chose to take your equipment in your carry-on like I do, because I don't trust the baggage handlers, you could even wrap the individual pieces in clothing, right? Like a shirt or pants, something like that, in your bag so they don't jostle around as much. Because you're taking it with you anyway, Rebecca's here. Good afternoon, Rebecca. I chose sound quality. I have a great setup here at home where I sound amazing, so the bar is set pretty high for what I'd be willing to submit. Yeah, and that's really, even with all the DAW confidence in the world, you're really kind of subject to what you have to work with. Once you get to where you're going, you kind of have to make do with what you got, unless you want to go to the local hardware store, depending on how long you're there, and get a few extra things, or to the local Walmart or Target or something and grab a couple extra things. Paul is here. Hey, Paul. Howdy, howdy. Hey, Jules. Hi to all the Angelistas and Angelistos. Good to see you, Jules. Dylan. Hey, Dylan. A travel setup is important to me with 2 kids in travel hockey. I've recorded many VOs from hotel pillow forts. Right on, Dylan. So tell us about your setup. What's in your travel rig? Share with us. Caesar says to Shanna, F2E Pelican cases will be your friend. Many mics come with them. Interfaces usually don't, but you can use the box and foam cutout they came in. Oh, that's a good point. But then you would have to make sure that you kept that stuff. Some people don't. I do. I keep all my boxes, just in case. Jules says, I've made a pillow fort before that can cut down a lot of background, but it would be best if you had a mic that could isolate your voice. Hotels can be super noisy, and that's the thing. That's the thing. Even if you have a microphone that does isolate, like a shotgun, it's still going to pick up all the sounds, right? It'll pick up less if it was a shotgun, but it's still going to pick up sounds. So really considering the time of day is really going to help with that too. So I would say you might need to get up a couple hours early. But then if you got a sleeping spouse on the bed, that might be a thing too. So they might have to get up early. Hey guys, we're going to Disneyland at 8 o'clock, but I'm going to get up at 3 a.m. So you guys do too. Oh, man. Mary Lynn says, good afternoon, all. This is so interesting. And I especially value Caesar's suggestions, of course, because he's Caesar. He has them. Rustic Hillbilly, good morning. Good to see you. Dwight says, hey, Dwight. Good morning, Miss Angela. I hope this finds you and your followers doing well. I hope so, too. I hope everybody out there is doing fine. Dylan says, Cinco D2 shotgun mic with table stands, Scarlett Solo, MacBook. That's my setup. All fits in a backpack and has served me well. And the Cinco D2 shotgun mic is basically the 416. Cinco D2 came out about a year after I purchased my 416 at a fourth of the price, and it sounds very similar. If you're looking for microphone suggestions, and this is how I found this out, follow Booth Junkie on YouTube. He does a lot of great microphone comparisons if you're thinking about one versus another. Like for me, it was a TLM 102 or 103, I don't remember which now, and the 416. And I watched his video comparing the two, listening to his voice, and then I chose the 416. And then, like a year later or 6 months later or whatever it was shortly after, the Cinco D2 came out, which sounded, and then he did a video of the D2 and the 416 comparing them, and they sound almost identical. I was like, dang it. Could have saved some money. Mary Lynn says, is there a struggle making sure that the portable sound quality exactly matches your at-home? Always. There's going to always be a struggle with that because it's not the same space. You know, the mic proximity might be close enough. The room shape and size is probably going to be different. The materials are going to be different, right? It's not going to be exactly the same, which is why Caesar mentions DAW confidence, knowing what you can fix, what you can handle, what you can do with your DAW in terms of effects and, you know, volume and the effect settings and things is really going to help you to have a little bit more confidence in knowing that your pillow fort or whatever you build in the place that you're in is going to sound close, right? It might not match exactly. It might not ever match exactly, but it could be close enough to not be noticeable by the listener. Josh says it looks like a decibel meter. Oh, what, the H4? It's a pretty cool device, I'll tell you what. Mary Lynn says, I have zero DAW confidence, right? You have more than zero. Stop it. I know you do. No stinking thinking allowed here, Mary Lynn. Caesar says, very much. Also depends on where you're going. Airbnb, hotel, camper van, beachfront villa. All of these have unique challenges to overcome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's never going to be exactly the same. But you might be able to get close enough. Dwight says, I have a pretty good setup for portability because I now mostly focus on audiobooks versus other forms of VO. I've decided to never take my portable gear on vacation. R&R is so important to self-care, and that's kind of where I'm at too, Dwight. But I have all of the pieces. I have a travel rig set up if I needed to. But if you're going to go on vacation, right? If you're gone for maybe a week, you could take it with you in case someone requests an audition, you know, a really important client or a really solid job offer comes in and you need to be able to record something. I might take it with me for that purpose. But ultimately, if you're going on vacation to rest and recuperate, go rest and recuperate, right? I'm with you, Dwight. That's kind of where I'm at. Sage says, good afternoon, Angela and everyone. Although I picked a quick setup, I would have answered all of the above if it was an option. For sure. Just taking a look at the poll really quickly, what's most important? It's still sound quality by a long shot. Yeah. And that's really, I think that, yeah, same. That's the major concern because it's not your studio. It's always going to be something different. Kat says, if you recently upgraded your interface, could you use the old interface as your travel setup? I mean, sure, if there was nothing wrong with the old interface, why couldn't you? Again, it's not going to sound exactly the same. So there's that, but if it's travel size, absolutely. You don't have to buy a field recorder. I just did because it was small. And it had lots of buttons. I like buttons. Caesar says to Kat, Depends on whether the new interface is solving a problem the old interface had, but technically, yeah, sure. Yeah. If there's nothing wrong with that old interface, then take it, you know? Because I mean, chances are whatever if it was solving a problem in your current studio setup, switching to a new interface, chances are that problem might not be present wherever you're going. So if it works, it doesn't create pops and cracks, there's nothing wrong with it, right? Take it with you. I would test it though, you know? I would take my microphone and the old interface and go to a different room in my own house and test it first and see how much of a difference there was. AJ Poppy says, Alex here. Hi, Alex. First live stream I made it to in months, and I'm late. Assorted donuts on the back table. Happy to be here with y'all again. Well, welcome back, Alex, and thank you for the donuts. As y'all know, if you're late, you bring donuts. Josh. Hey, Josh. Harbor Freight has cheap Pelican replica boxes with protective foam. Throw in a silica packet, and all good for travel. There you go. Harbor Freight. Of course, Amazon, Sweetwater might even, eBay. You know, those are all good places to check for stuff like that. Sean says, oh no, I'm late. Maple glazed bacon Oh my God, that sounds so good. Bacon beignets. All good morning from Nashville. Oh my God. I need to eat breakfast before these, so I'm not salivating midway through. Kat says to Caesar, ahem, someone recommended the SSL MK2 to replace my Focusrite. I mean, take the Focusrite. I mean, you know, that's less that you have to reset up when you get back, you know? That's the other thing. I'm always afraid of disconnecting stuff. I mean, if everything, maybe it's PTSD, I don't know what it is, but as long as you're not touching anything, once you have everything set up in your space, don't touch any knobs, don't touch any settings, don't touch anything, because chances are something is going to change, right? Good or bad. Most of the time it's bad. So I'm afraid to disconnect anything. So that's the other reason why I chose the field recorder, because the only thing that I have to disconnect to take with me is the microphone cable, right? And then I can take that with me, but everything else kind of stays put. Oh, sorry, I totally went past you, Alex. I chose affordability, but really I'm not sure I would take it on the road before I would see some significant success. I mean, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. And then hopefully I have a quality travel rig, can drag it all around the world. Mm-hmm. Have first to have a trip to go on. The same, brother. Caesar says to Kat, make the SSL MK2 your travel interface. The onboard high pass will definitely be good or be put to good use. Yeah, for sure. Because you never know. I mean, if you're going to a hotel, just count on there being tons of noise that you cannot control. You know, from next door, from above you, from below you, from outside your room. Just count on there being noise and come prepared to handle it in some way, shape, or form. Professor Tracy says, I always put a rolled up towel in front of the door. Oh, that's another good one. Excuse me, guys. Yesterday was a long, hard, long day of narration. Went too hard. Yeah, I mean, anything that you can treat in your space is, I mean, some might call it overkill, but if you can roll up a towel and put it in front of the hotel door into your space, close all the doors, drape yourself in a bunch of blankets, put the pillows all around you. I mean, anything and everything that you can do. And it's better than having to do all of that work and record something and then you can't really hear it in the moment because of perhaps outside noise. But once you get your audio back to your studio because you want to process it there, and then the whole recording was for naught, right? Maybe that's something else to mention too. If you have headphones, I would definitely have closed back headphones, so none of the like ambient noise in the room bleeds through when you're listening to playback. That way you're not missing anything. Like for example, you're in a hotel room and there's a constant hum, but you become accustomed to hearing it, and maybe it's also in the recording, and you can't hear the hum in the recording because that ever-present hum is still in the room with you. But once you get the audio back to your studio, you go, oh my God, there's this horrible hum all the way through, right? So you want to be able to hear it in the playback. So then you can go, okay, well, I'm not going to spend an hour recording this chapter if I'm not going to be able to clean this up when I get home. I just might have to ask the client for an extra day or two, you know? Renata's here. Hey, Renata. Good afternoon. Josh says you can unassign them. Yes. You're talking about the plugins. Yeah, you can unassign them, and then they go into like the plugin cloud for, whatever manufacturer of plugins that you're using. And then you have to reassign. I mean, I don't want to have to go through that every time. I think if I had to record something on site, it would probably be for something important like an impromptu audition, like someone contacted me and said, hey, I need a sample for this. I might have to tell them, hey, I am in a hotel right now. I am not in my studio. I plan to be back on X day. So this is not processed the same way as I would as if I was in my home studio. So just keep that in mind, that kind of thing. I don't know if I would go through all of the trouble of reassigning plugins to a different device DAW, or the DAW in a different device again. Caesar says, Josh, geez, froggy today. Okay, Josh actually brings up a good point about travel setups, humidity control. You may be traveling to a humid location. Silica packets and rechargeable dehumidifiers may be very necessary. Yeah, I mean, you could start, anything that you receive, like if you order stuff on Amazon, brand new stuff, if you're buying stuff, start collecting those silica packets. I'm sure you can even buy silica packets, couldn't you? I bet you could. But start collecting them and keep them like in a little baggie or something for future use. Hey, Caesar. I see this super chat. Thank you so much, Caesar. Caesar says, I just realized there are benefits to using a field recorder as your travel interface, and that's 32-bit float recording. They're practically impossible to clip. Removing the need for gain writing makes editing much easier. Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for the super chat. But you're absolutely right. I mean, those field recorders, that's what they are designed to do, is to be travel worthy, and then also be assistive in, they're designed to be used in potentially noisy or not ideal environments. So they have, like we saw, it had the AI noise control. It's got all of the different sample and bit rates available. So you have more flexibility in fixing the audio quality or preventing, or not being able to use it later. I have a bunch of different things in my head that I want to say, and I'm trying to say them all at one time. My brain. I hope that makes sense. Thank you so much for the super chat, Caesar. But you're right. I really like that little device. Ken says, I have a Zoom H5 to record audio with my Rode NT1 and just save everything to an SD card. And again, you can do that, which with the Zoom device, the field recorder, or you can plug it directly into your laptop, like you do your interface, and use it that way. You could use it either way. Caesar says the Isovox Go is actually reasonably portable and does the job fairly well from what I've read about them. So maybe I'm not thinking about this. So is it like a box that goes around your microphone, or is it not a shield but like a box that's foldable? That would help reflect noise from behind it and to the sides for the most part, and then you would really have to worry about, I mean, you'd still have to worry about the rest of the room though. I mean, it's just like using an Isovox in your studio, but something is better than nothing, and it would just be one more thing to have to pack. I don't know. I guess it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, as I always say. So maybe. I don't know. I probably would. But Caesar says there's some validity there, so that's worth it. Zaneta says hi everyone. Hello. Ruben says hello. Hey Ruben, how you doing? Dwight says my entire portable setup fits in a teacher roller bag. It is very space efficient. Microphone, foldables, isolation stand, and shields, game changer. There you go, another advocate for the ISO shields. Small mic stand with shock mount attaches to shield. Okay, well there you go. Caesar said, I tried putting my entire portable setup into a teacher, but all he kept saying was, where the heck do you putting? Thank you, Rebecca. Get the hose out for Caesar. No, Caesar. AJ Poppy, or Alex, I'm sorry, says, I've gotten a couple of ads. I'm okay with it as long as you get at least a few pennies from it. What do you mean? Oh, on the live stream? I thought I had adjusted that. But yes, I do get, my channel is monetized, of course. So I get a couple of pennies, but I thought I had fixed that. Sorry about that, Alex. Dwight says, MK4, I need to put my glasses on. MK4 mic and also my Apollo Twin X used to use hotel blankets over shoulder, head and booth shield, laptop and tablet. Bob's your uncle. That's the other thing. The laptop noise. Having your script perhaps, because I think the last time I had used my travel rig, I had a tablet for the script. I forgot to mention that, so I'm glad you brought that up, Dwight. You would either need to have your script on your phone or a tablet, and then have your laptop, just like we always say in your studio, have your laptop if it makes noise, because it has fan noise most of the time. Move that as far away as possible, and then have some other device that you can use to read your script from. I'm glad you brought that up, Dwight. Thank you. FYI, Amazon, $40, microphone isolation shield, foldable and adjustable soundproof panel for recording, podcasting, vocal booths, studio, and home use. 5 sides without stand. Interesting. And I forgot cables. I bring the cables, but it all fits into a small square teacher roller bag. Love it. Similar to mine, but mine is older. This will give you the idea. Look at you, Amazon shopper. $6.48 for 15 pieces, 20 gram silica gel packs. Oh, there you go. Transparent desiccant packets for storage. Did you just copy and paste the whole title? Josh says I got a large pack of, there we go. Okay, so you can. Yeah, I would imagine that you can. Or start saving them when you order stuff on Amazon or when you buy stuff from the store. Look through the box because there's always silica packets and start collecting them, put them in a baggie. Or you can buy a pack of 15 of them on Amazon. Caesar said there's the Isovox 2 is thick and heavy. Isovox Go is lighter. Both work the same way. They go over your head and isolate you from the room. Different levels of isolation depending on what you need. Okay, so they're not just like a box that you stick your head into. It actually goes over your head. That makes sense. But at the same time, just for those of you who think that that's all you would need, you would still need to address what's around you and coming up from beneath as well. Caesar says, fanless laptops are your travel friend. Just don't take them to the desert. Actually, don't take any laptop to the desert. Don't do VO in the desert. The bison will walk over and snort in your ear. Caesar. Dwight says, I once had a noisy room at a hotel, so I asked to be moved. They stuck me next to the ice machine. Got moved again. I mean, sometimes if you ask to be moved, they'll move you to a nicer spot. That's kind of, you roll the dice and you kind of get what you get, right? But it's why we have these conversations, so you guys are aware of, you start to get the gears turning, right? So you start to think about, okay, so what are all the things that I could be faced with if I travel in terms of getting my VO work done? I mean, there could be, noise, echo. I mean, the worst is not exactly knowing what your room is going to be like until you get there, right? Like, what kind of noises are you going to be gifted? I mean, that's like a crapshoot, Anytime you go to a hotel, you could be the window right next to the street. You could be in the room that's right next to the ice machine. You could be the room that's next to a bunch of kids. You could have elephants above you or a bison. That's kind of what you get, Although when you're booking the room, I know most of us do everything online now, but if you were to call in and book the room, you could tell them what you're looking for, and maybe they could reserve a specific room for you. I mean, just a thought, but I know nobody calls anybody to do anything anymore. It's all online. But I mean, that's a thought, Yeah, taking a look at the poll again, it's still 71% of you said sound quality, and I think that's really is going to be the biggest concern. But if we were able to at least prepare you for what to expect or what maybe could happen in this live stream, then our job is done. So you know what to bring with you and maybe some backup items. Check out the Isovox Go. Actually, you know what? Really quickly, I'm going to look that up. Let's check the Amazons. So Isovox Go. Let's check this out. That's expensive. Those are super expensive. Am I looking at the right thing? There's a portable vocal booth. Isovox Go portable vocal booth. That doesn't look very travel friendly though, and it's expensive. Here, let's see if you guys can see what I'm here. Tell me if I'm looking at the right thing. Whoops. Hang on. Clicking buttons. Isovox Go. There we go. All right, Caesar, is this the right thing? Here, let me unclick Dwight's. This Isovox Go. This doesn't look very travel friendly. Does it fold up? Maybe it does. Oh yeah, it goes in a bag. Okay. 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 I'm with you. That's pretty expensive. I mean, what else could you take with you? You could take maybe, I don't know. I would just take an extra couple like moving blankets with me or something in your vehicle. Yep. That's something else, Josh. I'm glad you brought that up. Because I think there was a time where a few voice actors that I know of over the course of the years were displaced because their studio was being refurbished, rebuilt, something. And they had to go out to their vehicle. And most vehicles are soundproof for the most part, not soundproof 100%, but sound treated, because obviously the manufacturers want the cars to be quiet on the inside, right? You don't want to hear a bunch of road noise and stuff from outside. So for the most part, um, cars are pretty sound treated on the inside. So the only thing to really think about if you are recording, excuse me, if you're recording inside your car, is the glass. So if you have one of those thick, like sun shields, you can put that in the dash or even shove in blankets. But then you'd also have to consider the glass around you as well, right? The driving windows. You would have to cover those as well. And then also probably have some sort of a Wi-Fi hotspot. Or if you're close to your own Wi-Fi, like if you're parked in the driveway. What else would you need? Of course, some way to power the interface, which then in turn powers your microphone. Maybe if you are in front of your house, you could have a large or a long extension cord, power strip, something like that. What else would you need if you're recording in your car? Some way to mount the microphone, because you don't want to just sit there and hold it, because that, you could have sound bleed in that way. You could bump it, accidentally shuffle, you're shuffling your clothes or something. What else? What else for your car? Point is, you would have to really sit and think about all the different things that you would need to effectively record in weird spots that are not your studio. Caesar says it's 17 pounds, roughly the weight of a bag of kitty litter. But hey, density is required for good insulation. I mean, you're not wrong. But that, I wouldn't want to carry that. I mean, that's just more stuff. I mean, if you already have luggage, let's just say you're going to Disneyland. You already have luggage. You have all the kids in tow. I mean, that's just 17 more pounds that I don't want to have to carry. Plus, it's like $750. I think I would just pack an extra moving blanket, maybe 2, take my pillows, because I would anyway. I don't want to sleep on hotel pillows. They're gross. Caesar then says, I'm sorry, you sent another super chat? Ay. It's dry. I don't know where the scratchy throat came from. Oops. Forgot to mention, if you're traveling, a plugin that will likely become your best friend is Waves Clarity D-Reverb. It's a great rescue tool for when you absolutely have no choice but to record in an untreated space. That's a plugin for after the fact. Yeah, that's for post. So, sorry, I don't know what just happened to my voice. So I think I would still record. I would set it up. I would set up my travel space, my travel recording space as best as I could. Record what I had to record for the day, and then just do all the editing when I got home. And then hope to God that I could fix it when I got home. And that's just me being, paranoid. But I'm sure most of the time it would be just fine. So I guess everything that we're mentioning today is not to instill fear or doubt or, to freak you out that traveling, recording voiceover while traveling is a moot point, because it's not. I mean, you could probably get great quality audio while traveling. I'm just thinking of all the things that could go wrong so I can prepare for them. Is kind of what I'm thinking. But if you have great plugins and you're confident about using them and what you can do, what you can achieve in your DAW, then if you just go in with the best intentions, take all of your travel gear with you, set up your recording space as best you can, you probably would be just fine, right? I'm always thinking of things that can go wrong so I can address them, right? Caesar says, yep, it's for post. Used sparingly and with good mic technique. It can be used as a final polish. Josh says, I heard that the Rode collar mics are getting really good for situations like travel. Oh, like a lavalier? Yeah, that would make sense. Hang on. It's got a phone call from. All right, I'm gonna have to call him back. Let's see. Caesar says, I actually welcome the challenge of recording. Of course you do. Of course you do. Actually welcome the challenge of recording video while traveling. The biggest issue is long form. You need to finish recording in the same space. Change in recording environment will be very noticeable. And that's true. And that's true. So I think that even furthers the comment about if you're on vacation, just take the vacation, right? Worry about the audiobook when you get back. Hang on, let me just send a message to make sure everything okay. All right. Review Exchange Group says, I can't imagine doing part of an audiobook while out of town. Seems like the sound difference would be noticeable. Yeah. From the portable to the in-studio sounds, I could see doing a 1-minute audio, though. I think that would really be the only time that I would really record something on vacation with a travel rig is just like an audition but then also at the same time telling the client that I'm not in my studio. So this is not going to be, what the final product would sound like. Rode Labs are omnidirectional, so they may pick up a lot of the room. Cardioid or tighter is still preferable. Or just take your vacation. I'm becoming a bigger fan of that. Just taking the vacation when you're on vacation. How about that? All right, you guys. You guys have been commenting some great suggestions for future live streams. I really appreciate that. You guys are coming up with some really great ideas, so keep them coming. If there is anything that you would like to know more about or something for me to kind of deconstruct or dive deeper in on, please let me know. I mean, not just me, but everybody who joins in the chat. Everybody's got some great ideas and opinions. So, let me know. Comment on this video and tell me if there's something that you want to talk more about, and we could make it a future live stream. So let me know. But otherwise, I will see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. And then for those of you in Launchpad, I'll see you guys on Thursday. So I'll see you guys then. Have a great day. Bye.